puts me in mind of the south of France.
I've heard a lot about France. I'd like to see France someday, but are you sure this is what France looks like?
Oh, picture this with grapevines and castles.
Huh.
Mrs. St. John, she travels a lot. She's been to a lot of places. It sounds like she loved France when she visited France. Might be like the top 5 favorite countries that she visited. But yeah, Hope Valley is a whole different world. It's a different living condition. Like, it's a different lifestyle in Hope Valley. And making a home in Hope Valley will be a huge decision for her. She seemed to be a city girl at heart, and Hope Valley is like the opposite of that.
Ooh, stop the wagon.
Ooh.
This is it.
It is?
This is the land I want to buy. Look at these grasses and those trees and that stream. It's perfect. Do you know who owns it?
Well, it's town land.
So she already has a game plan. She already has a location to settle down, to build a house in Hope Valley. So she had been brainstorming about her future home in Hope Valley, but it is a town land, so technically she needs to talk to Bill about that.
Oh, well, I don't think they need every little field and gully. Tell me about Hope Valley and your mayor, Mayor Avery.
Oh, Bill? Yeah, well, Mayor is just a small part of who he is.
The way that she asked Mike to tell her more about Bill, I think there was a reason why she asked Mike about Bill. I think she wanted to get to know him. I think she has somewhat of an interest in Bill.
Before that, he was a Mountie.
Mountie?
Yeah, a forensic inspector, in fact. Then he became a lawyer, and of course a judge, and all the while, he's a short-order cook and a small business owner.
Well, isn't that impressive?
And I think Bill is one of the reasons why she wants to stay in Hope Valley if that happened, if that thing happens. But yeah, I think it was a smart move by her. Like, oh, tell me more about Bill. And Mike, he's a talker. So he's gonna tell you a lot of things.
You busy?
Never for you. Let me guess. Henry. Have you talked to him?
Since the charges were dropped, he hasn't had a whole lot to say.
This scene is funny. Bill was about to eat his lunch, and then Joseph interrupted, and you would get to see Bill get interrupted again after this scene. A little spoiler alert right there if you haven't watched the episode. But Joseph came in to talk about Henry, and Bill noticed as well, like, Henry hasn't been like himself 100%. You would think that Henry would be really happy, in a better mood right now after his charges were dropped, but he's still going through that mind battle and just trying to accept that he is a free man.
Yeah, so I've noticed. He's like a ghost wandering around town.
Maybe he thinks he was robbed.
Of what?
In his mind, his chance for penance. And maybe he thought going to jail was the punishment he deserved.
For saving lives?
For all the lives that were lost.
They're trying to figure a way out to help Henry to move past from his past and just to move on and look forward to the future and owning the freedom and accepting that Henry is meant to be a free man.
And he can't get past it.
Unless, maybe there's a way to give him what he wants.
Hope Valley already forgave Henry, and Henry is a good friend of Joseph and Bill, and they want the best for him, right? One thing I noticed that after the charges were dropped, like the trial is over, like they still have their eyes on Henry just to make sure that he is okay post-trial, you know, like they could have just like ditch him in the dark and, you know, continue their own lives, but they want to be sure that Henry will be okay, especially mentally. Like, he's still struggling in his mind about accepting this freedom. So it's just really nice that Joseph and Bill and of course like the others in Hope Valley, they just want to make sure that Henry is okay, will be okay moving forward, and to help him to accept that he is a free man and that he can live his life.
Well, you picked the right town to wind up in jail in. It's the best meatloaf in the county.
Dogs can sense if you're like good or bad, right? So maybe Scout sat next to this kid because he's not a bad kid. He just did something bad, basically. So Scout like, I like this kid. And Nathan just like shaking his head. At the same time, Scout seemed to like the jail cell. Something about that bed. I feel like Scout liked to sit on top of the bed. But I think more than that, I think Scout sensed that this kid is not a bad kid. It's just a good kid that did something bad.
Sorry for causing so much trouble.
Trouble? That's what you call accosting a helpless woman on the road.
Dr. Carter doesn't really seem that helpless.
I'll give you that, yeah. So what does your family do in Eagle Creek? It's a farming country, isn't it?
So maybe he can read people. But yeah, Dr. Faye, she is very independent. She knows how to take care of herself. So yeah, I agree with that too.
It was. Bad crop yield did us in.
Bad year?
Like once in a century bad. Came out of nowhere. Just our valley.
I'm wondering if like someone set it up, you know, the bad crop. I mean, it sounds like it's not normal. I mean, it can happen, but I don't know. Maybe there's like another mystery behind it.
You know what, why don't I see if I can get you another plate?
Thank you.
I feel like that's like the best jail experience. A very cute and lovable dog, and you get the best meatloaf in the county. But I think there's a change of heart in Nathan. I think he sees something good about the kid. But I think it's a mystery. It's interesting how that valley got affected by a bad crop, but no other towns were affected by it. So it could be another possible storyline this season, a mystery that Nathan might need to figure out.
Am I interrupting?
Not at all.
I have wonderful news. I found the most perfect piece of land. I'm absolutely in love with it.
Oh, congratulations.
Like I said earlier, Bill got interrupted once again. He cannot eat his sandwich, his lunch in peace. People keep interrupting him. He is a busy guy. But Mrs. St. John walked in this time around, and she wanted to tell him about the land that she wanted to buy. But this conversation took a little bit of a dramatic turn.
And what's your plan?
Well, to buy it, of course. And would you believe the coincidence? Apparently, the town owns it, of which you just happen to be the mayor.
Oh, well, I hate to break the news, but town land is not for sale.
Please. Everything's for sale.
Not the greatest news for Mrs. St. John. Bill, once again, he is the acting mayor. We haven't even, get an official mayor yet. We need a mayor, ASAP. Bill has a lot on his plate. But anyway, yeah, Mrs. St. John, she really wants to move in Hope Valley, into Hope Valley. And she really liked this piece of land, but I guess as a town rule, no one can buy that piece of land.
Oh.
No, not in Hope Valley. The town decided a long time ago that certain land would not be for sale, although it certainly is available for everyone to share.
I hope this isn't because we got off on the wrong foot. I do have a way of blundering in and breaking china.
And then it got a little bit personal, and they talk about like the first impression of each other and how they met and how they got on the wrong foot.
No, it's not personal, I promise. And you haven't broken any china.
Well, I insulted you in your own cafe. After I inconvenienced your horse.
Well, you're gonna have to take that up with my horse.
But Bill like made it like funny, you know. He's like, oh yeah, that one you can talk to my horse about it. It's just that friendly flirtation happening at the same time between the two.
But if you're waiting for me to change my mind, I can't.
I know. Not today, anyway.
But Mrs. St. John, she is not giving up. That statement, at the end, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna change your mind, Bill. Someday, some way, somehow, like, I'm gonna buy that piece of land. And who knows, maybe it's Bill land, right? We will talk more about that later on, but for now, it's a no. And Mrs. St. John is very determined to get it, and Bill has, a very bold and persistent lady, Mrs. St. John, to deal with over this piece of land.
Your blood pressure's a little high, which is completely normal. Just try to relax and maintain your breathing.
Rosemary doesn't have her mom around, right? So Elizabeth just like the best friend and the best woman to be there, be Rosemary's sidekick, right, left hand, wing woman, and to be there for Rosemary throughout the process. You can tell Elizabeth gets scared for a moment, like, wait, her blood pressure is a bit high, is that normal? And then Faith calm them down, like, you know, it's normal, it's fine, just try to relax. It's been a while since Elizabeth gave birth, so it's just very stressful at times, right, during the labor. Like, you want to be sure that everything will go well and the baby will be healthy.
There weren't any stethoscopes handy when little Jack was born.
We're doctors. We're lucky he wasn't born in a snowdrift.
It was terrifying. I just tried not to show it. You were brave.
I don't recall feeling very brave. But I had you and Abigail there with me.
The
Christmas salami.
This is a good way to get Rosemary's mind off the contraction for a quick minute, having that throwback memory of little Jack being born and comparing back then to now. Like now they have Dr. Faith and they have this comfortable room and bed to give birth on, and medicine is a little bit more advanced compared to the day that little Jack was born.
Well, we did good, didn't we?
We sure did. And despite all of it, I had my two best friends there with me, and I felt safe. And you are safe too.
I know.
It's a beautiful full circle moment. Rosemary was there for Elizabeth when Elizabeth gave birth to little Jack, and Jack already died, right? Like, that was like a different ball game. Like, Elizabeth didn't have her husband, and she depended on Abigail and Rosemary so much to safely deliver little Jack into the world, and thank God that little Jack was okay.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Faith. I'm so lucky. I couldn't be in better hands.
Now Elizabeth is here for Rosemary and to support her, and this time around Rosemary has her husband and she has a doctor by her side, making sure that she's okay and the baby is okay.
Yeah, I'm just...
let me. You can...
There we go.
I thought this was funny too. Elizabeth, like, you're the doctor, you should stay here. I'm gonna step out for a hot minute and get more water. But Rosemary, she is progressing in the labor. Very soon, we're gonna see a little baby girl or boy.
Are you sure you don't want lunch, little buddy?
Can I have ice cream?
Well, how about we have lunch, and then you can have ice cream.
Okay, buddy.
Lucas is like in a training mode to be a bonus dad to little Jack. He already had plenty of hands-on experiences with little Jack before the wedding, but he's doing great. He very attentive to little Jack. He's very loving toward him, and he guides him really well. Like, you need to eat real food before ice cream. You cannot only just have ice cream. You need to have real food first, and then have the treat, the dessert afterward. So he's watching over little Jack really well so far.
You want a sandwich?
What?
A sandwich. Would you like one?
Oh, no. I couldn't. My stomach is in knots. What do you think it'd be taking them so long?
It's only been a couple hours.
I gotta get some air. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Lee, she's freaking out. She was like, what? A sandwich? Like, he doesn't even remember to eat. That's the other thing, like, you're so focused on your wife, like, about to give birth. You want to be sure that she's okay, but you cannot be in the room at the moment, and you don't know what to do. You feel helpless, and he doesn't remember that he needs to eat, and then he decided to step out for some fresh air. And Lucas, he's somewhat busy, right? Watching little Jack, and at the same time, he's sure that his friend Lee is okay and that he doesn't freak out. It's only been 2 hours. Labor, Lee, like, it can take more than a day.
It's a nice Mountie hat. Is that your dad's?
Did you know my daddy?
No. No, I didn't.
This is like the third, the fourth, the fifth emotional scene for me in this episode. Again, I love this episode. I think it's just so heartwarming in so many ways. It's my favorite episode so far this season. This is another favorite scene of mine in this episode, and I'm just like, all the emotion and the feels, I'm like, oh my god. We get to see this happen, like, this is one of the questions, like, okay, like, Lucas being a bonus dad to little Jack, and having that conversation with little Jack about little Jack dad and what happened to him and all that. Lucas, number one, I love how he acknowledges that little Jack dad is his bio dad. Lucas understands and knows that Jack Thornton was a wonderful man. He was a wonderful husband. He did a very noble thing, living that Mountie life and being away from Elizabeth and his dad, and the struggle that Elizabeth went through after Jack's death and raising this beautiful boy on her own. Lucas knows and understands that Elizabeth went through a lot. Little Jack went through a lot. I mean, he is basically living without his dad present in his life.
But I do know that he was a really great man. Why don't we have ice cream now? And we can skip lunch today.
Now that sounds like a plan.
All right.
So this is something that Lucas needs to navigate, and he's starting to in this scene. He's like, wow, like, this conversation, it needs to happen, but it's just something that he wasn't prepared in this moment, and I think that's why he changed the topic a little bit. Like, why don't we have ice cream just now? I think the intensity of this conversation got to him, and he just like, you know what, let's get ice cream and have fun and enjoy ice cream. That's my guess. What do you think? Do you think, I don't know, I felt like there was a reason why he decided all of a sudden to get ice cream, even though it's a bad idea, like, the kids should eat real food first, but I think he just needed to relax the tension from this conversation. And I think it's something that he need to talk about with Elizabeth. And I think it's important before the wedding happens, you know, like, hey, I love your son, like, I'm gonna raise him as my own son, but, you know, you and me, like, we eventually need to, you know, tell him more about his real dad when he grows up and come to that understanding. It's just something that Lucas needs to be prepared. Like, not in a bad way, but it's just something that he needs to keep in mind as he move forward into the future with Elizabeth and little Jack.
How's she doing?
She's doing well. Lee's next door with Lucas. Not sure how he's holding up.
That was very nice of Nathan to check up on Rosemary, as well to check up on Elizabeth.
You okay?
I'm fine. I'm worried. Remembering how hard this is. Thank goodness Faith is here.
Yeah. I mean, you did this on your own, didn't you?
In a cabin in the woods.
Elizabeth, she's in that emotional state of mind as well. This is something that she went through with little Jack, and now she is very hands-on, like experiencing it all again from a different angle, seeing her best friend Rosemary go through this labor process.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm glad she's got Lee.
Yeah. I'm glad you got someone. Being a single parent is not easy.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah?
This is a very important moment. I don't know if this makes sense, but it's hard to be a single parent. I don't know how it feels. Like, I never went through that situation, and God forbid, I hope I don't go through that later in life, but it's not easy. And Elizabeth is a single parent, but she's about to marry Lucas, and I think that will bring some comfort to her that she has someone. She has a partner, not only in romance, but to help her grow little Jack up and any future kids that they may have. And Nathan, on the other hand, he's dealing with raising Allie by himself, and he's still looking for love, and hopefully he finds the right woman to be his wife and to be a great bonus mom to Allie and to be a great mom to any future kids that they may have together. I think it was just a beautiful picture of this friendship, that they are in the same stage in life, you know, being single parents, and Nathan understand Elizabeth on that level. And I think it's just a very unique, special friendship to witness between these two.
When did Allie start having questions about her mother?
Pretty much right out of the gate. Allie was 4 when Colleen passed, so...
Right.
Why? Is little Jack starting to ask? That's a tough one.
Since Elizabeth and Nathan are in the same stage in life, being single parents, she asked him about Allie when she started asking him about her mother. Elizabeth needs advice, so that's why she asked Nathan, like, I'm freaking out, like, I don't know how to do this. It's new for her, you know. She's like, okay, this is starting to happen a little bit more, where little Jack asked more questions about his dad. Also, I read on Twitter, I'm like, I should not be reading on Twitter that much. I love, like, you know, reading tweets from other Hearties, especially since I don't have cable anymore and I miss live tweeting with you guys. But I was, like, reading, like, how Team Nathan is still alive, and I'm like, we're like way past that, and I'm just like, And then I kind of, like, read a little bit spoilers. Someone mentioned in the interview that with Chris and Aaron, they were talking about how they're gonna go through this, like, big hurdle throughout the season before the wedding. And I'm like, yep, here we go, because if you watch episode 5, you would know what happened in episode 5, but we'll get there. Episode 5 review after this episode.
Shouldn't be. Obviously, I want him to know all about Jack. But how much do I tell him, and when?
Well, From where I sit, in my opinion, they'll let you know what they're ready for.
And Nathan was honest. It's a tough thing to go through. It is tough, but you don't know what to say. You don't know how to say it. It's a vulnerable topic because the memories flash back to you, right? And you remember of all the moments you had with that person before they died. And Elizabeth made a good point. Like, it shouldn't be tough to tell little Jack about her dad, but I think the tough part about it is having those memories bring back to her in her mind, replaying in her mind as she tells little Jack about his dad. And also, like she said, like, how much do I tell him? Like, when should I tell him about certain things about his dad? I think that was a great advice from Nathan. You will know when you know. The ball is in the kid court, you know? Like, Elizabeth cannot control this. It's just, it will happen naturally.
I hope so.
I know so.
Thank you.
You let her know the whole town is rooting for her.
I will.
Despite Team Nathan on social media, there was such a lovely friendship moment. Nathan showing support for Rosemary, not only for Rosemary, she showed support for Elizabeth. Not to be mean, Team Nathan, like, it's over. The only Team Nathan that exists would be either Team Faith or Team May, or maybe a third woman, like, who knows. But yeah, I love the friendship between Nathan and Elizabeth. It's like brother and sister, and they're always there for each other. And I think at the same time, having Nathan in Elizabeth's life, I think it's another reminder for Elizabeth, like, yeah, my first husband was a Mountie, right? And now Nathan took his place. Not to be me, but it's just, I think it's a godsend that Nathan came into Hope Valley, even though they had, like, a drama back in season 7, 8, when Nathan told Elizabeth about Jack's death, right? But they moved on from that, and Nathan was and is still a good friend to Elizabeth. Having Nathan in Elizabeth's life, I think he has a purpose to be in Elizabeth's life, and that's to be her friend and just to help her, guide her in the single parent lifestyle.
Get up, come with me.
Where am I going?
You'll see.
Oh.
Nathan, change of heart, possibly.
How far apart were the last contractions?
4 minutes.
4 minutes? Weren't they 4 minutes half an hour ago?
Women have done this for thousands of years. This is how it always happens. When you witness childbirth, you realize how strong women really are.
Rosemary is struggling. And I think that's natural. I think that's normal. Labor is tough. Not every labor experience is easygoing. For Rosemary, it's getting tougher on her. And this is the first time going through this. So she's just like, am I losing hope? Like, am I doing something wrong? Like, am I gonna be able to get the baby out safely? Is the baby gonna be okay?
Well, that's good to hear. Oh.
3 minutes and 50 seconds.
You're getting closer.
Sorry. Shall we try our breathing? Good.
Elizabeth has some worries too. She's just like watching out for her friend, and this bringing back memory for Elizabeth too, and that fear, like that normal fear, because you just want to be sure that everything's gonna be okay. I am not crying. I'm just having watery eyes. I'm like, oh, I hate being sick. But Rosemary, like I think Rosemary's storyline speaks to a lot of women. I'm sure a lot of fans, and Rosemary went through a lot. Like, she went through a lot of emotional moments. Like, she wanted to have a kid with Lee for a long time. She thought of adoption, and remember, oh my god, now I remember when they were like engaged and they were preparing the wedding ceremony with the pastor. Yeah, oh my god, been a long time. And then she's like, oh, we're gonna have kids? Like, they have sticky hands. Oh, that's like so good. I think like that's one of my favorite Rosemary lines ever. And then after the wedding, and they were thinking about, you know, children in general and adoption and all that. And then, you know, they tried, you know, whatever happened, right? And then by the grace of God, Rosemary got pregnant, and now she's going through this labor experience. It's tough. Contractions are not fun. I never dealt with it, but from stories I heard, I'm like, oh. But not to be mean, but I think there's like a big conversation around this. Like, I don't know if you thought of this, but it's like she wanted to have a kid, right? Like, she decided to be a mom. Like, she wanted to have a kid with Lee, but at the same time, like, the consequence of it is that you have to go through the labor and contraction and having the baby, you know, out of your body and all that. So it's just like, this is what you get for being pregnant and having a kid. But I'm sure Rosemary is very grateful to go through this, even though it's very tough for her right now. I think she would do it all over again, just to bring this beautiful, healthy baby into the world. But I think she had those moments throughout the labor, like, oh my god, like 4 minutes apart, like it hasn't changed, like the baby not humming yet, like I want the baby out, you know, like she wanted like quick and get over with. But it's a process, it's a journey, it's a experience, and this is all new for her. But at the end of the day, when that baby is born, she will have that grateful heart in that moment of appreciation. Like, I did it, the baby is so, hey, we are officially parents, and now, you know, here comes the parenthood. So that's why it's so crucial to have Elizabeth there, and Dr. Faith, and all these people in Hope Valley supporting her and thinking of her and praying for her, cooking meals for Lee and Rosemary. So it's so important to have that support system, because Rosemary is freaking out. Like, she's doing like the hard stuff, right? And she wants to be sure that she will survive and the baby will be okay too.
Let's try again. Shoot him out. Yay! If we're playing for keepsies, you get to keep my red Aggie.
Keepsies!
There you go. Nothing? No.
Another adorable moment with Lucas and little Jack. I love this relationship.
You know, I have felt a lot of things in my time with Rosemary. I really have. Love, joy, heartbreak, excitement.
Lee is a married man, right? And Lucas is about to marry Elizabeth. This is like advice, wisdom talk, a preview of what marriage will feel like, right? I think Lucas is feeling that. He's like, yep, I'm gonna feel all these feelings for Elizabeth, especially when they become a married couple. But I thought it was pretty cool though, like the way that Lee talked about his marriage relationship with Rosemary to Lucas. It's like a foreshadow for Lucas when he marries Elizabeth, and at the same time, it's like Lee giving some wisdom talk to Lucas about marriage life.
Even a little confusion and impatience, but I have never felt this helpless.
That was like one of the very rare vulnerable moments I've seen Lee in. I don't remember the last time I see a very emotional Lee. But I thought that was beautiful. He was honest, he was very open about it. He confided in Lucas, like he trusts Lucas, that he can easily open up to Lucas, you know, about any feelings that he may be feeling. Lee not trying to like talk bad about it. He's just honest, and he needs someone to listen to him and to talk to. And Lucas, he somewhat understands because he loves Elizabeth to death, and if anything happens, or if he cannot help Elizabeth, or if Elizabeth is struggling with something, or she gets hurt, Lucas, he will, freak out and all that. So Lucas has some understanding. But at the same time, marriage is different from a dating relationship, right? And it's a whole different world, and you learn more about your partner once you marry them. It's a different lifestyle. I mean, there are adjustments to be made after you get married, but for now, Lucas just like getting a preview, a sample of what it looks like in their marriage. Lucas and Elizabeth, they're gonna have their own situation. Like their marriage will be different from Lee and Rosemary, but it's just that general theme, like a situation arises, right, and your spouse, like he or she, like feels helpless in the situation, and they cannot help their wife or husband. And that's what Lee feeling. He's like, he not do much for Rosemary in this labor. Like, he trying to give her space and allow Faith and Elizabeth be there for his wife, and he just here with Lucas and little Jack, and his mind is going crazy. He really doesn't know how to help.
All right. I apologize.
I'm sorry I stole stuff from your store.
Yes, well, it may just be a couple of cans of lard to you, but it adds up.
I'm sorry, sir.
I don't know about you, when I first watched this scene, I was like, Ned and Florence like had their arms crossed, and I'm just like, are they trying to look tough in front of this kid? But there's the moment of truth. This kid, do we even know his name? I need to look it up. This kid is having a confession, confessing what he did to Ned and Florence.
Well, Constable Grant says your family is going through some hard times. Well, if you pay for what you've taken, we'll let it go.
Wow, I would like to, but we don't have any money.
Which is why Mrs. Yost and I have decided that you can work in the store until you've reimbursed us.
The other side of this, I thought that was very nice of them. They didn't have to do it, but it just showed that Ned and Florence believe in forgiveness and second chances.
We believe in second chances around here.
Thanks, Mr. Yost, Mrs. Yost.
But don't push your luck.
No, sir. I swear. Never again.
Nathan played a role in this, so this was nice of Nathan to talk to Ned and Florence first and be like, hey, this kid did this, like, are you willing to give him a second chance and make it work with him, instead of like going to jail and all that legal aspect of it, instead of like going on a trial and punishing him and charging him. Can we do this like outside of the legal area, in private? In Ned and Florence, like they have kindness in their hearts, and they like, yeah, we can deal with this, in private, and make sure that the kid pay it back by working for them. So he will be in Hope Valley for a little bit. Maybe we will get to learn more about him, maybe throughout the season. I thought it was just a nice act of love and support from Nathan and Ned and Florence. Like, they could have dealt with this situation in a different, worse way for this kid. Basically, just like a second chance at life, and hopefully the kid doesn't screw it up again.
So what is it you gentlemen want to talk about? Look, Henry, I've got some bad news. Judge Kimball has had second thoughts. He's decided to enforce the mischief charge, and because you pled guilty, he's already passed sentence.
What does that mean? Community service.
So this is apparently their game plan against Henry.
Bill's asked me to supervise you, and I've agreed.
What kind of community service? Well, that would be up to Joseph.
you've been doing odd jobs around the town since the oil company folded, so I thought 1 Thessalonians 4:11, the healing power of working with your hands.
I mean, it's nice, but if you watch this already, like, it's not the greatest game plan because Henry figured it out.
I thought you could build something for the town.
With my hands.
Well, it's surprisingly good for the soul.
You two, the two of you, you're terrible liars. Terrible.
It's funny though, Joseph is a pastor and Henry called Joseph and Bill like terrible liars.
I'll do it though.
Huh. That went well.
And I thought it was funny because Joseph is a pastor and lying is a bad thing. But they meant well. They tried to like let Henry know like it's okay to accept your freedom. Like you just live your life like to the fullest.
Teacup, any word about Rosemary?
Oh, nothing yet.
Oh.
Lucas is still at Elizabeth's.
What?
Mike, he's not stupid. He sense there's something going on between Bill and Mrs. St. John.
Oh, nothing. Just, she's a nice woman.
And?
And I understand that we can't sell town land, but what about your land? You've been wanting to sell that for years.
But it's good that Mrs. St. John talked to Mike and Mike kind of like gave like some heads up to Bill like, oh yeah, like she's a nice woman and she wants to buy the town land.
Don't say anything to her about that. There's something about her that just doesn't add up.
Because she's a beautiful woman with eyes for you, and maybe that's throwing you off your game?
Eyes? Off my game? No one's gonna throw me.
Bill tried to deny that he has eyes on Mrs. St. John, and I'm just like, I think I picked up on that vibe right from the beginning when they first met. I'm like, something going on between these two. Like, there's just some attraction. Does that make sense? Yeah, just like attraction between them. So maybe they'll become a thing. Who knows? Thankfully, Mike gave Bill a heads up that Madeline was coming over to them, and Bill like he didn't want to reveal too many in front of Madeline. The fact that he was talking about Madeline, but Madeline, she is a nice woman so far, right? Maybe there's a secret that she is hiding from Hope Valley. Who knows? But I think she wants to find a better home, a better community, and she found a huge potential in Hope Valley.
More tea, Mike? Don't worry, I won't ask about the land again. Town rules.
I'm surprised you haven't found a way around it. Everything's for sale and all.
You think you've got me all figured out, don't you?
They definitely got on the wrong foot, and then they made it right, and then they got on the wrong foot again. She bluntly told Bill about her life history, like the quick version of it, and Bill's like, but I think she said those things about her life just to let Bill know, like, you don't know me, like, you cannot judge me by my cover. You don't know me unless you get to know me. And she just letting him know, like, she meant well, like, she really wanted to find a good home in Hope Valley.
I'll have you know I wasn't born rich. My father worked the railway, and my mother took in boarders. But I'll admit, when I met my husband, I thought I had it made.
I take it things didn't work out as planned.
He wasn't a kind man. And then he died.
That's tough for her, because her husband wasn't the best husband for her. So she must have been happy that he died, no offense. But for Jamie, like, she feel for her son, because that was still his dad, you know? And having no dad around, it's tough, because having a dad in your life, he gives you that perspective from a father perspective, and teaching him how to do man stuff and giving him advice on relationship and all that, and his dad is not around anymore.
Must have been hard for Jamie.
It has been.
Well, he's a fine young man. And lucky for him, he has you.
I should go up.
And then Bill said a very, very nice thing, probably the nicest thing he ever said to her, that Jamie is lucky to have his mom around. And it touched her heart, and it just showed that Bill sees the good in her and that she's trying her very best to give the best life to her son.
Sorry to disappoint you earlier about the land.
I have to remind myself life is full of disappointments and opportunities.
Bill might be sorry about the town land, but he is hiding from her about his land. So that'll be an interesting storyline going forward.
Good night.
Good night.
But I love what she said though. Life is full of disappointments and opportunities. So she's gonna find a way. She's not giving up. She wants to have that happy future with her son and maybe a new husband.
Contractions are 2 minutes apart, Rosemary. You're doing great.
I'm so tired. I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can. How much longer?
Many hours have passed by. It's nighttime. I'm pretty sure it's the same day. So from late morning to nighttime now, she's doing labor. It's getting really close. She is in pain.
I can't take this much more. Oh.
What is it? Her blood pressure's very high. She needs to calm herself, otherwise complications could arise.
I can't do it. I can't.
Red flag, that doesn't sound good coming from Dr. Faith. Rosemary just need to keep it together, right, until the baby is born. It's like this close. Elizabeth very concerned.
You can. You can. I just need you to keep breathing. Try to stay calm. I can't. Oh. I think we need to get Lee.
That might not be helpful.
He could calm her down.
Elizabeth went through this before without her husband, right? And I feel for her. Like, that must have been really hard for Elizabeth. But in this case, Rosemary does have her husband next door. And I think that's a great idea because Lee is like the last resort right now.
He could calm her down. Elizabeth, I need Lee. Oh.
Worth a shot. Go get him.
When Rosemary told Elizabeth to get her husband, to get Lee, it was very directive, like it was very stern, like very serious, and the eye contact, Elizabeth like, yep, I'm gonna go get your husband. Not to be mean, but Elizabeth knows Rosemary better than Faith, so Elizabeth like, yeah, I'm gonna get Lee. And Faith, thankfully agree with that. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Lee is her husband, and I think she needs that. She needs that kind of support from her husband.
He's out like a light.
It's been 11 hours. You know what? I don't care what anyone says. I'm going in. That's it.
Lee.
She wants you.
The timing is impeccable. Lee must have that sense like, okay, I should go see my wife. It has been 11 hours, so since morning, yeah, 11 hours is not fun. But yeah, great timing. Elizabeth came over and Lee like ran out the door.
Sweetheart.
Hey. Please don't go. Don't leave me.
I'm not gonna go. I promise you, I'm gonna stay right here. I promise you. Okay?
With Lee coming into the room, it changed the atmosphere. It changed the vibe. It made Rosemary happy, and she's like, "Don't go anywhere. Like, stay with me." It means a lot to have her husband by her side.
Now breathe. There you go. There you go.
It's an interesting culture back in those days. The husbands, I guess, usually not present during the birth. It's different from today's time. But I'm glad that Lee won. I'm like, she really needs you. Like, you can be like the lifesaver for her.
I love you so much.
And then she calmed down and she said a lovely thing, like, I love you so much. And that's all she needed to hear and see. Like, see her husband and hear him talk to her in a humming voice. It hummed her down, it hummed the vibes in the room. Like, it just changed the atmosphere in the room, and it makes a huge difference.
No? Thought you might want to light this.
Thank you.
That was a nice, thoughtful thing that Lucas did. Have the handle prepared so they can lit the handle together.
And I felt it was time to let everyone know.
That was really awesome what Lucas did to get everyone together, and you can see his hands on Elizabeth's arms just as a sign of comfort and support.
I hope she can feel the love.
I'm sure she can.
Any news?
Not yet.
This is another beautiful picture of togetherness, community, great neighbors.
Looks like insomnia's catching on.
It's a nice night.
I don't sleep near as much as I used to.
Nathan, always for a joke. If you need to like brighten up your mood or have like a joke, go to Nathan. That was nice of Nathan and Bill to come over, as well as Allie. Everyone is just getting into, sorry, my phone charger. Everyone is getting into like a group huddle and just hoping for the best for Rosemary, and the baby will be born soon.
How is Mrs. Coulter?
She's a force of nature. That she is.
It's a girl.
It's a baby girl. I'm actually excited. It's a baby girl. No offense, we already have little Jack. It's nice to throw in a baby girl in the mix. It would have been cool if it was a boy. Little Jack would have like a buddy close enough in age. But since it's a baby girl, I think it makes the most sense, especially how we learned about Rosemary's past and about her mom. I think this would be the greatest storyline yet for Rosemary, embarking on the motherhood journey and just figure it all out, right, without her mom around. It would have been nice if she had a better relationship with her mom and her mom was there to support her and give advices, but her mom is not there. So it would be an interesting journey to go on with Rosemary for the rest of the season as she navigates her motherhood. I'm so happy it's a baby girl. I was hoping it was a girl. Let me know if you got your guess right.
Oh my goodness, a little girl. Oh my goodness. How wonderful. Elizabeth, I'd like to see you.
Faith was very touched by the support of the community when she walked out of that doorway. And as a doctor, you are tired, like 11 hours at least, like that's a long shift for her. and she mentioned to Elizabeth that Rosemary and Lee want to see Elizabeth right away. Of course, like Elizabeth is right on it. She's very happy for them. Elizabeth, I think she was surprised it was a baby girl.
How could she be anything but?
Hi, you two. I mean, 3.
Elizabeth, come meet your goddaughter.
This touched my heart too. I was like, oh boy, here we go. This episode's like a roller coaster of emotion. Elizabeth did not expect that at all, so this was a good surprise for her. Of course she would be the godmom, like I wouldn't see it any other way. But yeah, it's just a wonderful gift that they gave to her, giving her the honor to be the godmom to this precious little baby girl, and putting the trust in Elizabeth that if anything happened to them, Elizabeth would watch over this baby girl like her own. It's just a special moment, and it's so awesome. Like, we've been waiting for this, right, for a long time. Rosemary and Lee deserve the best in life. They deserve happiness and joy, and the joy of parenthood, and it finally happened, and I'm so happy the writer decided to put this in.
Oh, just look at her. Oh, my goodness. Hello, sweetheart. You are just the most beautiful little girl I've ever seen.
Of course, we don't know the name just yet, right? Random thought, though, it is possible, like this baby girl, like we can ship her with little Jack. You never know. They might date in the future. Just saying.
What's her name?
Well, we haven't actually decided on a first name yet, but the middle name was easy.
Elizabeth.
They decided on the middle name right away. It was super easy. Elizabeth. I did not see that humming. I saw the godmom moment humming, but I was like, wow, it's like 2 cherries on top of a cake. What a great honor, right, for Elizabeth, not only to be the godmom, but also to have her name as part of this baby girl middle name. So we're gonna have 2 Elizabeth in Hope Valley. Elizabeth is so touched, she is so honored, and I'm not surprised. Elizabeth is like the best friend that Rosemary ever had, and it shows how much Rosemary loves Elizabeth, how much she cherishes her relationship with Elizabeth, and how much she trusts Elizabeth as a friend, as a family.
Do you want to hold her? Yes, please.
Rosemary and Lee having that proud parent moment, like the daughter is safe and healthy.
Oh, we waited so long for this moment. We'd almost given up hope.
Yeah. She's our little miracle.
When they mentioned about how they almost gave up, almost lost hope, and the baby is a miracle, that baby is a miracle, I was thinking maybe they should name their daughter Hope. Hope Elizabeth. Just a thought, a random guess. I can't wait to learn the first name. I think episode 5 they haven't decided on the name yet, so I'm wondering if episode 6 they will reveal the name of this baby girl. I'm so happy for them. Like, I was so excited, like, especially watching this episode for the first time. I was like stoked, like finally it happened. They waited so long, like I said, and the dream finally came true.
Why does the world look so different all of a sudden?
Because it is.
Because she's in it.
Elizabeth, as a friend, of course, she is so proud of Rosemary. She did it. She survived. thank goodness. But that was such a sweet end to the scene because she is in it. The world got a little bit brighter because of this precious baby girl, and it's definitely gonna be a huge adjustment for Rosemary and Lee. And episode 5 gonna show that first month of having a baby in the house and all the mess, the beautiful chaos. We will talk about that in episode 5 review.
Perambulate. It means to walk in a funny fashion. Good morning.
Good morning. Another lovely day in Hope Valley.
Isn't it?
Hey, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Hey.
Jamie making new friends. Progress.
Mrs. Thornton? Did Jamie come to school with us?
Oh, we wouldn't want to impose.
Can I?
If it's all right with your mother, of course.
It was very nice of Hooper to ask Elizabeth if Jamie can join in. Of course she's gonna say yes, but it was very, very nice of Hooper to ask.
It's not too much trouble?
No, not at all. Jamie appears to have already made a few friends, and Cooper and Toby can show him the ropes.
Thanks, Mom.
Let's all perambulate together.
Elizabeth is an awesome teacher. But yeah, Mrs. St. John, Madeline, she's very happy for her son, and that smile on her face sets us off, like, progress, things are looking up. She just need a home to find in Hope Valley.
I had quite the job getting Jack to bed last night.
Oh.
He wouldn't take off his Mountie hat.
Lucas, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Guys, I'm like losing my voice. This is like the last scene. So this is the last scene. One moment. Okay, this is the last scene, and I'm so glad that we got this scene before the end of the episode, because if we didn't, it would have been like an open book, and we would have wait another episode, to hopefully see Elizabeth and Lucas talk about this. But I'm glad we got this scene, and this is already a great episode, and ending it with a Lucas Elizabeth scene is like icing on the cake. One thing I like about Lucas is he is honest. He confronts Elizabeth on things that are important to talk about, and this is very important to talk about. And the look on her face, she's like, oh boy, like, we're gonna have this conversation. But it's good, because I think it's important with the timing of the wedding. Like, they need to talk about this before the wedding.
Jack's his father. He's a big part of your life. He always will be.
I realize I've avoided talking about him with you.
You don't have to explain.
You know what I've learned about love?
Lucas never pushed Elizabeth to talk about Jack because it's a very vulnerable topic, and I respect him for that. And I also respect how he acknowledges Jack as the father of little Jack, and how he is still the dad, and even though he is not alive, even though he is not present in Hope Valley. And it's like he set a line, like, I'm gonna raise your kid as like my own son, but at the same time, he deserves to know that there are two dads in his life. One is Jack, and the bonus dad, Lucas.
It can't be measured, or contained, or used up. The more you love, the more you can love.
It can be tricky because this is the first wedding for Lucas, this is the second wedding for Elizabeth. Lucas understands that Elizabeth had this great love story with Jack, they built a life together, like they had it all, right, until his sad death. And Lucas respects that relationship, like he respects what Elizabeth had with Jack. But it's a different love story, right, with Lucas. Lucas is a different guy compared to Jack. It's a different love experience for Elizabeth. That's why she talked about what she said in the scene about love in general. Like, even though she loved Jack, but it's a different kind of love for Lucas. With Lucas, she was coming from a broken place because she lost her husband and she had to raise her son by herself. She was still figuring out, single parenthood. And she met this great guy, Lucas, and she's like, should I not? And she fell in love with Lucas, and it was a different love experience. It's a different kind of love with Lucas, and it is possible to fall in love more than once, with more than one person, right? I think people deserve to find a second chance at love and to get remarried if they're open to the idea.
And once you truly love someone, you'll love them forever.
That's how I love you.
There should be no comparison, no jealousy. So, and I'm sure it can be tricky for Elizabeth, but she wants to show to Lucas, like, you're such a guy, and that she loves him for who he is, and that, Jack should not be in the way, if that makes sense. But hopefully he is confident, like, hopefully he doesn't have, like, second thought, like, it can happen, he can, like, easily compare himself to Jack, but at the same time, Elizabeth doesn't dwell on the past. She is at that place in her life where she is so excited for her future with Lucas, and she looks forward to it, and hopefully Lucas have that same perspective. It will be a journey for Lucas, especially with little Jack. Little Jack gonna throw him off from time to time. Little Jack will question Lucas, like, oh, are you my dad now, and all that, and like, what should he call Lucas? Is he gonna call Lucas dad or whatnot? Those things are gonna happen, and Lucas need to make decision. He need to figure it out with Elizabeth, what the best course. I know Lucas will be a great bonus dad to little Jack, and he's already showing that. It's just the timing and when it will happen. Lucas will, deal with those things, and little Jack, hopefully he will realize someday that he is very lucky to have Lucas as a bonus dad. I cannot think of another guy that is a great replacement for Jack, to fill Jack's father's shoes, and to take care of little Jack. I mean, he's not gonna replace Jack, but you know what I mean, like, someone that can fill in those shoes because Jack is not around. Kudos to Lucas. He have said no to Elizabeth, right? Some guys, like, they would, like, run off, be like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with your kid. But Lucas, you're very loving. He accepts Elizabeth and her son. And I think, like, that's, like, number one for Elizabeth. Like, if you don't accept my son, I'm not gonna marry you. So, kudos to Lucas for saying yes to Elizabeth and little Jack. It just shows who he is, as a person, and the good heart that he has. And Elizabeth, she very careful in a good way with handling Jack versus Lucas, especially when it comes to the topic of little Jack asking questions about his bio dad, and she doesn't compare, between Jack and Lucas. She loved them, like, for who they are, like, in their own self. It's a beautiful mess, Lucas, he from a different life experience than Elizabeth. I mean, this is the first for Lucas, right? This is the second of everything for Elizabeth, and they are becoming as one. And they are and will be very compatible, and I like the dynamic of their relationship, because Lucas, he never went through having a kid and getting married, but Elizabeth did. So it's just a very interesting dynamic, and I'm really glad that the writers pick Lucas, because it's different, we don't go to a Mountie Elizabeth relationship again. Like it could happen, but I just like that fresh air of the character of Lucas and having him fall in love with Elizabeth and vice versa. So yeah, it's a beautiful mess, and it's just something that they need to figure out as the day goes on and as little Jack grows up. And basically, Lucas and Elizabeth just need to be a strong team in raising little Jack and letting him know that he had two great dads that love him so dearly. I feel like I said too many things, but at the same time, I also feel like I was all over the place. I hope it made sense, but I'm not trying to like say bad things, but I just like trying to say like the facts, you know? Nothing is perfect, right? And Lucas and Elizabeth just have this interesting dynamic and beautiful love that they have for one another, and I know they're gonna go through the hurdles as a married couple, and I can't wait to find out what little Jack gonna call Lucas. He's not gonna call Lucas Buddy for the rest of his life. I think that's something that they will eventually talk about. I think that should be the Teacup question of the day. So what do you guys think? Do you think little Jack gonna call Lucas by dad or daddy or puppy, or maybe the French word of father? Let me know. I know it's gonna happen, and I think it would be the greatest honor for Lucas to have this special little boy call him dad one way or another. Because Buddy, I don't know, I feel like Buddy will become like disrespectful when he at an older age, you know what I mean? I just hope that they have a good relationship. I know they will. You know, there will be a lot of questions for little Jack, like, why did my dad die, you know? Like, wait, Lucas married my mom and all that, you know? There will be a time for that where this kid gonna understand everything, and I know Lucas would be a great dad to him. So, that's the Teacup question of the episode. What do you think gonna happen? You think little Jack will continue to say buddy, call Lucas buddy, or he will call him dad eventually? Let me know your guess. But other than that, thank you for your support, for your patience. But for those in the United States, I hope you have or had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. As usual, YouTube have been like tagging me in copyright claim, and it had been blocking US fans from viewing my videos, so I apologize once again for that. It takes a while to get the videos back to the public where everyone can see my videos, depending on when Hallmark approves it. So I'm really sorry for the delay, and I know there are a lot of US fans that watch the Teacup Trail as well. But if you're outside of the United States, lucky you, you get the first dib. But yeah, I just want to let you know that it's not like I'm running behind. I mean, I am, but not too bad. It's just the YouTube situation. But I do want everyone to have a chance to hear me out and to watch these episodes together for everyone around the world. So there's that. As usual, comment, give a like, subscribe if you haven't. It's never too late. I hope you are doing well. I think I'm feeling better. I'm just like losing my voice. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.